You, a hose, and something dirty that needs you. That's the fantasy. Powerwash Simulator 2 with now added couch co-op makes it feel decidedly less suspicious when someone walks in on you because hell, if it was fun alone or through webcams, it's more fun with somebody sitting next to you. Yes, I'm still talking about Powerwash Simulator, a game of uncertain stains, uncloggable drains, and clean freak brains. You know that weirdly soothing brain chemistry thing that happens when you blast virtual dirt off a fake fence for 2 hours straight and suddenly realize you're spiritually cleaner than the object you're cleaning? Future Lab figured that out in 2028, bottled it, and sold millions of copies of it as Powerwash Simulator. Now, 3 years later, they're back with the sequel, aka The Empire Scrubs Back. And like their game itself and its subject matter, they're not wasting time rebuilding the car or the wheel. They're just pressure washing some of the grit off of it, polishing the spokes and adding co-op and sending it back. The sequel drops October 23rd, 2025 across PC, PlayStation, Xbox Series X and S, and Switch 2. It's a self-published title this time, meaning Future Lab's doing it without the middleman taking a cut. Same mid-tier price, same soothing gameplay loop, but now with more toys, more intricate locations to spray down things, and yes, a cat. Because, of course, there's a cat, or many cats in this case. Make sure to subscribe and comment. We give out some titles to people who are subscribers or commenters. Maybe some of the games here, maybe some other ones. Let's begin. Same soap, new suds. Everything about Powerwash Simulator 2 is laser focused on the main activity at hand. The game starts out with you having a choice between career mode and free mode, where you just go out and clean anything that you've actually done prior in the career mode. But we'll talk about the career mode overall, as that free mode is just really the same thing with a slightly less rigmarole. The game starts you off quite quickly. You pick locations on a map in your small base, and that map sends you off to clean particular locations with the basic set of tools at first. A power washer, a thankfully unlimited amount of soap and water, some nozzles, and an absolutely rigid rule to not tell anybody about the questionable shit you clean off the items in the level. As you're doing these cleanings, little bits of story between each of the major levels tells a tale of the mayor prior and new mysterious goings-on here in town and its unique locations. It continues the story. It's all pretty much ado about nothing really, but it's a bit of lore that isn't set in the normal run-a-business mode we see in a lot of other simulators games. Instead, it's run-a-business in a weird-ass city in the middle of nowhere simulator game. Let's get this all out of the way, though. Powerwash Simulator 2 isn't trying to revolutionize your life. It's the same meditative grime blasting that you know, now with more tools and a few welcome quality of life tweaks. You've got new toys like the circular surface cleaner, which is basically a Roomba for filth. You have scissor lifts and cherry pickers for vertical jobs and abseiling rigs for when you feel like Spider-Man but want to do it without all the trauma. Zipping up and down, left and right across larger structures, which means a bit less neck cranking up to wash the dirty underside of some monstrous Leviathan-like building like you're at a hospital cleaning a homeless dinosaur. They've also added multi-stage jobs. Here you start outside, clean enough, and bam, doors open so you can wash the insides of said building as well. It's the closest thing the series has to a plot twist, and honestly, it actually pretty much works. It gives each mission a sense of scale without just increasing the map sizes. 1 minute you're hosing down a playground, the next you're scrubbing goop off a park landmark, the next some monolithic building with questionably mysterious reasons for being. Tracking your jobs is quite easy. Whatever you hit, it shows you a little life bar of the dirt that's left remaining, as well as a sectioned out bar you can open up with the tab menu to see any areas you haven't cleaned. Once you're done, you get a little cha-ching sound and you get a time lapse of your cleaning. Now, between gigs, you return to your home base, which is less Batcave and more depressingly relatable garage. You can decorate it with some trinkets and trophies and furniture you unlock by doing jobs. Nothing screams power fantasy like earning a digital couch and sometimes having to clean it anyway because it looks like it's been in some Detroit downtown hovel and Eminem probably wrote a song about it. There's also a cat who just kind of hangs out, silently judging you for spending your time digitally cleaning someone else's dirt and not petting it. It's all light RPG dressing, sure, but it adds a bit of continuity as you move between the levels. At any time, pretty much, you can go to a store and buy new nozzles, more power washers with all kinds of variable heads and different ways in which you want to clean, outfitting it for yourself or for anybody playing. And that also brings us to sort of the biggest shakeup here, shared progression and local split screen co-op. Yeah, split screen, like it's 2006 again and your buddy's eating chips on your couch while you both argue over who missed a smudge on the slide. You can play online with up to 4 players too, and the game actually remembers collective progress. No more host gets all the credit bullshit, which is like saying the QB won all the away games. Actually, shit, that happens, but you get the drift. It's a kind of addition that doesn't really mess with the core Zen loop. It just amplifies the good stuff. and your partner can now judge your cleaning technique in real time. Also, at this point, you can make plans for how you want to do things, pointing different areas out and maybe having one person go left, one right, one high, one low. It just all depends. The new soap mechanic in particular actually makes you plan a bit. Do you waste time scrubbing or spend cash on detergent for efficiency? And when you're scaling the second story of a carnival ride one step away from falling to your death, you can shorten your nozzle on your stick to hit that last stubborn patch of grime. It always feels pretty heroic. They've nailed the tactile rhythm again, the small satisfying bursts of progress, the escalating chaos of bigger jobs, and the dopamine hit of seeing 100% clean. It's still that game. No timers, no enemies, no stress, just you and your washer and the unrelenting entropy of dirt. There's also some actual interior cleaning, as I said before, which breaks up the just outside monotony. Washing a building inside and out gives a sense of completion that I believe the first game actually sort of lacked, and the visual readability here is better, and it helps because you need that on the inside of some of these buildings. And in a game that's so particular about its cleaning, I love that it's not particular about how you do it or with what. So let me explain this in particular. In Powerwash Simulator 1 and 2, the majority of what you do can be done by any of the tools. And with any of the tools in the game, actually not requiring you to buy something else. It's simply the amount of time it may take and the amount of effort and care it may take. What this does is, unlike some other games where if you don't have a part to repair a car, you quite simply can't, this game allows for you to basically say, I can do it, and allows for you to scrounge around to decide how you want to go for it. It allows for you to actually feel a little bit like a business that's deciding, hey, you know what? I'm going to save a little bit of money and see how well I can do it without buying the biggest, best, brand new power cleaner. But you can do that, and you probably need to, because in the later jobs, some of these can be huge. And again, they're made easier by those new pieces of equipment. But I do like that feeling of being able to choose. And certainly, as somebody who plays a lot of the simulator genre, certainly not something that's always replicated. And I really do appreciate the flexibility. So when you are cleaning out there, there's also two control modes really to clean. The first is you play on your gamepad or your mouse and keyboard regardless. You have a free aim mode, and you also have a stick mode that is basically exactly what you would expect for a first-person shooter. Aim and you will hit. Now, you can play with the gamepad, which is pretty much onomatopoeia. What you see is what you get. Use one thumbstick to move, one thumbstick to look around, to spray down and switch, and use your different directional sticks and your trigger and your bumpers. No real issues here. And a bit of dialing in the sensitivity can get you where you probably need to be. On the PC, you have the ability to do the same, but you also have that ability, just like in the console, to do the free look kind of aim mode. And I want to talk about this one in particular. The free aim is a tiny bit odd because no matter what, I always felt like there was an intermediate mode in which there should be some existence. Because while you're in first-person shooter mode, it's pretty easy to do it, but you're moving the camera around everywhere. In the other, you're not. But in that particular mode, it always felt like the FOV was almost chokingly tight, even on the PC, to the point where using the free aim, it felt good, and I enjoyed using it, but it didn't feel as good as I think it probably could. Going to the edges of the screen with a cursor moves the viewpoint up, left, down, right, whichever, but no matter what, it always felt like I had to do that more than I probably should have. And especially when you get multi-stage, interior, exterior, larger cleaning locations, you're aiming directionally up or diagonally down. It wasn't exactly the high fidelity that I was hoping that they would dial in here. Now, there's a lot of settings, so you can mess with those, but it was just something that I picked up on. Replicated here, as well as in the prior game, is that graphically, there's a great deal of detail in a game that looks pretty simple. First, it's more polished, sure, but don't expect Unreal 6, The Filth Awakens. The focus isn't on cinematic fidelity, it's on watching grime melt away like butter on a hot pan. Improved lighting, some particle effects, and richer reflections make all of the different areas look a little bit cleaner. And the soap system's been overhauled here. It cleans, it bubbles, it foams, and it makes identifying particular areas a little bit easier for where you need to apply that extra elbow grease. The game's excellence, though, is on the spot-on replication of, well, spots and dirt and grime and unknown stains that mark up everything in the game world. Each location where that dirt is easy enough to identify, sometimes even from far away. So if something's dirty and the game's engine does a great job displaying it, even the smallest speck, you can go and clean it right away, or visually identify and look around to find that one particular spot, that little bit of dirt left on a barn wall. When you go back to it, you can almost always look around, visually identify it, and find it, which helps that it doesn't feel super gamified in this way, and also looks very serviceable while doing it. That also means that the game's performance is pretty much rock solid. There were a couple FPS drops here and there, but even down to the 2080, I mean, the game's not really asking a ton. Each location is split off loaded levels anyway, filled with some various scenery and the building itself and whatever may be there. That requires CSI level investigation, then atomic cleanup levels of scrubbing, but doesn't require a great deal of draw distance. That being said, there were a couple FPS drops that I noticed, and there's a couple visual anomalies you might see in a reflection here or there, but overall, it actually looks very serviceable for what they're trying to accomplish. Let's also talk about some service here, and that's to your ears, the audio. There's really no audio for the voice, so be aware of that. Moving on. There's really not much music either. This is somewhat surprising to me. I do appreciate it, and yet at the same time, it also frustrated me a tiny bit. For the most part, it's just the sound of the power cleaning itself. And while that works, and there's tons of different sounds for what you're hitting, what angle you're hitting, and what debris you're hitting, at times I was also wondering exactly how this game would feel if they had chosen some very particular music to play during it. But you can do that on your own if you want to. Something sedate as a soundtrack, I would have liked to sort of see how it worked, or something vaguely humorous. The sound of water splashing against cement, as somebody who's had a power washer in their hands a fair number of times, does work perfectly, though. It's surprising just how well they nailed that feeling in the sound. And there is something tangible about it. You can almost feel the vibration of the power washer when it's hitting cement and you're trying to get that one last bit of grime off. So excellent job in the sound. And when you put all that together, really it is just you going out there, finding a campsite, cleaning off some different steps, a woodcutter's axe, a pot and pan for cooking, and just listening to the special new swirl nozzle you get make an adjustment in the pattern of water from 15 feet away and actually hearing that water hitting a swirl. It was very well done. Does it all come together? Now, I don't think everything's perfect, and this is where we talk about fun factor. As I said, no matter how many hours I spent, the oddly truncated switch between the two control schemes always felt just like one was slightly off. Not broken, not completely unusable at all, nothing like that. It's just as you continue to go for many hours, there's an efficiency level that I swear just didn't seem like it could ever perfectly hit because of it. Also, there are no maps really as large as the largest in the original game, and it seems like they've made a trade here to now have missions where you go inside the buildings after cleaning the outside. I like the idea of cleaning inside, but it sometimes feels a bit weird depending on immersion going into some buildings and cleaning the inside of them when you're looking around going, would I really power wash the inside of this place? Many of the missions don't open the inside right away either, which means co-op can't be taken advantage of on an inside-outside basis, at least for a couple of levels I played. Or at least it wasn't maybe working. I'm not quite sure. But you were still able to split jobs up. I know inevitable DLC and crossovers will happen as well, so that's cool. And there's no denying that some of these levels are going to take you a great deal of time. And there's something magical about having a level open up and looking up and seeing this massive place in which you have to clean. And instead of that feeling of an exhaustive day ahead of you, you feel like you almost can already understand the tangible dopamine reward when you hear that cha-ching and you're actually at 100%. Ultimately, the game's enjoyment is the same as the first one, revolutionizing the feeling of a washed car magically somehow driving better, but in digital form. It's here. Cleaning something, hearing that chime of success, honestly, just excellent. And that's where the game does such a great job. It's where everything continues to be just enjoyable. It reminds me a little bit of those grotesque YouTube videos where people are washing their faces or showing you the results, but here you're removing everything. You're removing the old or replacing the new and not having to see the face of some mysterious YouTuber up close. Instead, it's campsites, bulletin board uprights, and fictional historic sites, just as it should be. For a game that's $24.99 with a 15% off loyalty discount, Powerwash Simulator is trying to do a lot great and a lot right, and it hits most of it. At the end of the day, it's not here to blow your mind. It's here to quietly scrub it. The new tools, home base, split screen co-op and vertical levels, and inside outside make it feel like an adjustment and a change, not just DLC. But it never forgets what made the first game special, which is that weird hypnotic joy of watching the world go from crusty to clean. So yeah, it's iterative. It's not revolutionary. But when your game's about washing dirt off imaginary buildings, more of the same but shinier is kind of the dream. Future Labs didn't set out nor need to rebuild the formula. They just gave it a fresh coat of soap, and that, honestly, is probably all they needed. As you guys know, I rate games on a buy, wait for a sale, deep, deep sale, or never touch. This is well worth it. It's an enjoyable game. It's got a couple hiccups here and there, but they build on the prior while adjusting things for the future. And that works for them. It's also a self-published title, so they've kept the price at a really stunning level, especially with that 15% loyalty discount for people who have already enjoyed that previous game. I don't know anything about the DLC or what's coming up, but I'm sure there are going to be a ton, and I can't wait to maybe wash the underside of Dom's nuts from Gears of War, or his statue at least. Let's hope it's a statue. Anyway, that's it for me. Give a comment, give a thumbs up. As you guys know, we give away stuff to the people inside there, and also I buy every game I review, even if the dev gives me a code, so my money is on the line just like yours. Peace out. Enjoy the rest of the week. Check out the Patreon, which has a great place for people to jump in, stream games, hang out, play some D&D, play some video games together, what have you. It's a cool, safe place to talk about pretty much anything you want. Peace out.